The Coming of Age was one of the most fundamental books we have in the history of anthropology. And it was not a book that was put out just for anthropologists or experts in the field, but it was a book mostly without any reference written for the lay people. What did The Coming of Age say though? The author of Coming of Age was Margaret Mead, and the book was about adolescence in American Samoa. Now, Margaret Mead had attended university at Columbia under Franz Boas, and two were the major topics of debate of that time. One was racism, and Franz Boas was absolutely anti-racist, right? He did not believe the race is significant of essential biological makeup. But the other one, still in the branch of biology, was the idea that adolescence is a period of time where there's a storm and drug. That is, there's a storm and stress, because adolescence is this period that is biologically also, as we know nowadays, like a period of evolution, of profound evolution of the human being, and that is why adolescence is marked by a period usually of rebellion and redefining one's identity differently, usually from that of the parents. And so, in this scenario, Margaret Mead leaves the US for the American Samoa and spends there 9 months. Now, to be completely fair, she does not stay with the Samoans themselves, but she stays in a former US naval dispensatory, and so it's kind of like isolated from the actual Samoan, although towards the end of her trip, the Samoans include her ceremonially with the fituita, that is the ceremony that acknowledges her as part of the community. What Margaret Mead observes is that in general, Samoans seem to have a much better way of dealing with life, specifically with those events in life that are totally natural but also constitute some type of taboo. Let's remember that this is a research that is traced back to 1925, right? Where still arguments and were still topics like sex and adolescence and death were somehow a societal taboo. You wouldn't talk about death. You still nowadays don't talk so much about death. You don't talk about sex. Nothing has changed really, and no as much. Though nowadays it's much more. Everything is much more sexualized. In reality, we still don't talk about it. Not in the terms we should be talking about it. And she observed that Samoan girls, unlike Americans, were able to navigate adolescence much more easily, and that was coming from, in her opinion, according to her observations, was coming from the fact that crucial events in life, such as giving birth or death or sex, were completely natural. Even death following giving birth was considered totally natural and was considered something that could happen, and therefore the attitude that Samoans seemed to have was much more embracing of life in itself. Even sex, right? She observed that boys would masturbate freely, or women would do that in a much more solitary way, but nothing was suppressed. And that is why the New York Times wrote, "Samoa is the piece for women where neurosis cease from troubling and complexes are at best." And this type of narrative goes back to what Malinowski had portrayed, that is basically that some lands are erotic utopias where certain lands in contaminated and certain lands that are not so civilized constitute these gardens of heaven, where like people are completely free. Now things might be slightly different from this idyllic portrait through which Mead observed the Samoans, but also not as strict, or not as but they might still not conform to the portrait that Foreman years later gave of the Samoans, which is completely different from that of Mead. But for now, we'll stop here. So guys, if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, don't forget to comment below. Let us know your thoughts, and we're gonna talk soon in a new video about something else. Bye!